Hey, how's it going, collectors? This is Dave at thecollectioncorner.com, and I just thought I'd do a quick collection update video. I've never really done one before, but I'm just away on holiday today, heading over to the UK from Bangkok. Going to be away for about 3 weeks, and I know I'm going to miss my collection, so I thought a little video will be nice for me to look at when I'm missing it. You'll have to forgive my cats. That's Master Bruce over there. Bumble and Bee. They're no doubt going to make noise and get in the way whilst I'm here, but let's go in and just have a wee nosy at what I've got going on. Good old evil Superman down here. And you can see I've custom lit the base by putting cracks in that pavement work and mounting red LEDs underneath. I don't think that piece gets enough respect, but I think it's an awesome piece. And moving up, good old General Zod. Again, a cracking head sculpt. Even though I do think he sometimes looks a little bit wall-eyed. Great piece. I also find that he doesn't stand up so easily. The ankle joints, they're not very strong. He's quite a weighty figure with all of that armour. Moving up to the legendary Man of Steel. Sometimes these dynamic stands don't quite allow the poses that you want, so I've got it kind of hooked around his neck to support him in his walking pose. I need to futz around a little bit with that cape. I've actually wired the whole cape from right from shoulder all the way along the bottom and then back up the other side. And obviously you can see I've done the custom job of trimming the excess and lowering it down. I would like to get a custom cape in there at some point, but for now this works. It's not quite flowing as naturally as I would like, but again, I'll get around to that at some point. Moving up here, the original Man of Steel in my book, Christopher Reeve, flying through his Fortress of Solitude. This is another piece I've custom lit. You'll find a video on this on my channel actually, on how I've removed the bottom and cut certain pieces out, added LEDs in. Don't think it quite shows up as well on camera as it actually does in real life, but you get the idea. Obviously got my my display tiles here. Superman piece. And then moving over to the Batman display. This was a kit bashed Bruce Wayne using the head sculpt that comes with the DX12 Batman, Dark Knight Rises. And this is the not the Hot Toys version of the Armory. I can't remember the company that makes it now, but I think it's a lovely piece. And we've got some of his extra bits and pieces stacked up on the doors behind him, including some from the DX09 Michael Keaton Batman. And I actually took the head off of the suit here, which wasn't the greatest part. It was kind of a solid looking mask where the eye holes were filled in and the mouth hole was. So I decided to, in fact, let's go inside the cabinet here. I decided to cut the eye holes out and the mouth out. I removed the neck piece, so there's a kind of a custom mask for him to hold, and yeah, looks good. And then that beautiful, beautiful piece, the DX12. Again, I've done quite a bit of custom work on this. I did the custom black paint around the eyes, shortened the gloves, painted up the straps a little bit more, although I used an acrylic paint which made it a little bit too shiny. I'm going to redo that at some point. I also removed the fat suit from underneath it so you can get a bit better articulation. You'll notice some wiring running down the back of the cabinet there, and that's because I've got all of these pieces plumbed into my wireless remote system, so they all come on with my LED lights, including these little spots. Michael Keaton, one of my favorite pieces. I still prefer this over the newer version, the Batman Returns figure. I recently found, very disturbingly, my cape had caught just a little bit of mold and started to crack, which is almost soul destroying, but it's led me onto a path that may well introduce a new product to my line. Watch this space on that one. Again, got the spots lit up. This cheeky little piece behind here is one of my prototype custom base, which lights up. It's got LEDs underneath this. It is still in prototype phase. I'm working on obviously making it better. All in good time. With the advent of going on holiday, it slows things down a touch, but it's part of the fun of this hobby, I think. There's the good old Terminator. I absolutely love this piece as well. I'm probably going to say that about every piece in the collection, because I only buy ones that I truly love. Just got him in that normal pose, battle damaged. Again, the spotlights on this one aren't connected. I must reconnect those. That's the Batman case. And then this case is kind of a mix and match. Got good old Captain America, the twin pack, and the stealth strike suit. I've customized, and I intend on doing a video on this. I removed the fat suit from underneath. As most of you will probably know, there's an undershirt which connects the arm sections underneath this piece, and I hacked that to pieces and removed it because the rubber was so restricting you can't get any movement at all. And what I did was I got a black t-shirt from one of the Gangster's Kingdom pieces, which has a small chest expander piece in it, and then I've actually sewn elastic joining the arm pieces together, one across here, one across here, and then one across the middle of the back as well, and it actually gives a lot more flexibility. The arms are kind of turned in at the moment just so that he looks a bit more natural gripping that shield, but he does have a lot more movement now, which was my biggest regret about this piece. Well, not regret, but you're going to see a few of these little wires hanging around, and that's because I'm making more tiles to go in here. Here we've got Hulk who's just the centerpiece for it all. A huge, imposing beast. I do love this guy. AntMan, one of the most recent additions to the collection. Again, this is probably one of Hot Toys' finest pieces this year. It's just so well done. The head sculpt is fantastic. The suit is awesome. Articulation's not great, but you can get some really natural poses going on if you kind of futz around a little bit with him. Just got the tiny AntMan in the background there in Hulk's hand. And a Thor's hammer. This was actually a gift from a friend of mine. It was a keychain, but it's metal, very weighty. I thought it would go in here nicely. Now this shelf is the kind of mishmash shelf. A lot of it's my wife's collection, things like One Piece and Conan. Obviously Sailor Moon in the middle there. Got a couple of Groots. A bit random. A few random Lego heroes. Into the War Machine hologram. And the only aliens and predators in my collection at the moment, although that's got to change very soon. Moving down, we've got Optimus Prime and Megatron. These are the Masterpiece editions from Takara. And Optimus Prime was, I think he was my first collectible in all of these. I'm a big Transformers fan. Megatron's a bit of a pain to keep standing up. His leg joints are terribly weak. And I wouldn't dare try to transform him again because I'm sure I broke a couple of pieces when I transformed him the first time. But for me it's about having him in the collection. He's, again, a lovely, lovely piece. Moving across, cabinet number 4. Iron Man, as you can guess. Good old Mark 42. Such a beautiful piece. I think the only downside to this piece was that you can't quite get that 3-point landing pose and make it look natural, but it does work. And then obviously my LED holograms. This is the 1/6 scale version of the Mark 42 or Mark 43, both very, very similar. It's a lovely piece to have in the collection, I have to say, but this one's not actually mine. This one's made for my brother, and it's going with me to the UK as a wee gift for him. Moving down, War Machine. See with the backdrop of the Iron Man 3 Art of book. Again, this cabinet, you'll notice the wire that's running down the back. I haven't tidied this up yet, but it's going to be something I'm going to improve on. But if you just see the wire running around the back side here and going into the battery compartment for the chest arc reactor. I've done this on all 3 of these Iron Man pieces I have, so that the arc reactor again comes on with the lights, and they're all powered by remote control, and the same with the bases with the LEDs in them. See War Machine's LED on in the base, and then moving down, good old Mark 7. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was my first piece, my first Hot Toys. It's a lovely piece. It's actually taken a bit of a battering because I tend to use it for testing and things, and it's certainly fallen over a couple of times. But again, it's got the chest arc reactor lit up, powered by the wire coming down the back. This is the latest edition. I've been after this guy for a long time. I managed to get him for an extremely good price here. I just think it's a beautiful head sculpt, and the clothing in the chair just really works for him. Gotta love the Mandarin, Trevor Slattery. And then moving down, another great piece, and I think essential for anybody with an Iron Man collection. It's this construction version. I love all the additions of the extra LED lights and all the details. I've got a few extra plans for this bad boy as well. One thing that kind of annoys me is they did with this what they should have done with almost every one of their their pieces with LED bases, and that's they have a socket at the back to put a normal DC adapter in, whereas everything else has had to be wired in. At the back here, this is a Hyper Gokin Mark III. Actually a lovely little die-cast piece. It's not amazingly articulated. The arc reactor in the middle is not lit up, it's just a very white sticker. But it's a very nice piece with the Hall of Armour. Okay, and then the last case. Got these guys here, art figures, Judge Dredd. I did a bit of custom work on him, although I'm not completely satisfied with the colour I got on the shoulder plates. There's always time to do more of that, but it's a great piece. Punisher. I really loved playing around with all the guns and everything with this one. So many cool accessories. And a tremendous head sculpt. Even if his nose does just look a little big. Moving down, we've got Dexter, who was a bit of a kit bash. The head sculpt is it wasn't an expensive one. Some guy on eBay makes them, but it's actually quite nice. It's fairly accurate looking. Paint job, it's not quite up to Hot Toys standards, of course, but for a quick kit bash, this was a gift for my wife because she loves Dexter. It worked very well. Batman gloves. The old hypodermic needle. There's a Star Wars tie in the background there. That's for a friend of mine here in Thailand. And then the Master Chief. This is actually the McFarlane Toys version. It's a really heavy, solid plastic body, but quite well articulated. And very well painted. I think it's only something like $40. But a great piece. And then my little Bumblebee collection. Nothing spectacular in there apart from the masterpiece version of Bumblebee, which I've been waiting for a long time. But I quite like Bumblebee, and people tend to buy me some of these toys as gifts every now and again. This is the shelf they go on. Eventually I do want to have that beautiful 3A version. And then down the bottom here, a few more Transformers. The Thundercracker and Sideswipe, which I've got two of. a couple of little Lego figures. A few Transformers fans that know that thrust there in purple was it cost about $2, and it's a cheap rip-off in one of the 7-Elevens here in Thailand. There was a friend that saw it and thought of me, so he bought it. Yeah, so there we go, that's the collection. In terms of what I'm using for things like the lights, because I do get asked this quite often, for those that don't know what I do, this is what I do. I make LED lighting, and I make kits specifically for the Detolf cabinet. And it all started with the idea of hiding the LEDs so that they're not constantly shining in your eyes, you know, and having an effective lighting system that hides all the wiring. So with this, there's several ways you can wire this kit up. I've got an adjoining piece across the top there which wires the two sides together, and then the main power cable there runs out of a 10mm hole that I've drilled in the top plastic piece to a nice big power unit that I've got sat on top of the cabinet behind all my boxes. Also, these are going to be replaced at some point, but these were put on a long time ago, but they're not even powered on anymore. There's LEDs in here designed to shine up to the boxes, but I'm replacing all of these with little individual pieces, make it look a bit neater. And you'll notice I use Weatherstrip. Let's see if we can get. Let's try and open this up and get a bit closer. There we go. So I use this brush style Weatherstrip. I think I've managed to find a supplier for this now, so I'll actually be adding this to my website and to the kits that I produce. But this is very, very useful. I've tried and tested a few different types. In fact, this one here, this is a 1/2 centimeter version, and this one is a centimeter thick version, and this is the one that truly works. Keeps all the gaps nice and closed and stops all that cat hair that tends to get into my collection from those cheeky pussies. On this side here, we've also got a Downlighter kit just there on each shelf. As you can see, I've not got this turned on just now, but this is the other style of kit that I do, and it basically just shines down and again just hides the LEDs and keeps the wiring nice and neat by going into this loom cover down the side here, so you can't see any of those wires hanging around. And the other question I do get asked quite a bit, and this is something that I'm going to produce as a kind of kit, is how to remove the shelf so you can get those larger figures in place. And this really was just a prototype that I threw together, but what I've done is here I've got a metal rod which when I make this kit will be painted grey, and these hose clips which are just perfect for clamping it to the framework. And the idea with this is that you've got all this support for the glass I know a lot of people use those rope ties, but you only got a couple of supports on each corner then. Whereas with this, you're supporting the glass in the same way as the actual framework for the Detolf does. It makes it nice and strong for putting those figs on. Cheeky cat hair. But I'm going to just improve this design slightly, and I'll be able to offer it as a kit, nice and cheap, for those that want to adjust their shelves. Well, there we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed having a quick look at my little collection. It's not as vast as some others that I've seen, but they're all beautiful pieces. I only collect the ones that I truly love, and I think I've achieved that in a really nice museum style look with the LED lights that I do. And if you haven't enjoyed this video, don't worry, I certainly will while I'm away for 3 weeks, and I can look back and remember what I've got in the collection. Yeah. So for now, I'll leave you to it. Obviously, thumbs up the video if you've enjoyed it. Do check out the other videos on my channel, things like the installation videos for the kits that I make, LED tiles and all of that. Follow me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, The Collection Corner. And don't forget to visit thecollectioncorner.com, and you can see all my live products and things on there. And over the coming months, a few extra bits and pieces coming too, which I'm quite excited about. And for now, keep collecting.